That can be arranged by the select board. You know?
Yeah. And I would gladly accept that appointment.
We can make an alternate the chairman.
Oh, man.
You're doing wonderful. Wonderfully.
Testing.
Let's take 1, 3, 4.
You may begin.
Thank you.
We're reconvening the meeting, and Counselor, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the predicament that the board finds itself in with this application. We appreciate the thoughtfulness in which it's engaged throughout the process here. We believe that the applicant has been working in good faith with this board to come up with a reasonable solution to the what appears to be the most significant problem before the board. That said, the applicant strongly feels that the plans that have been submitted to this board, the information that has been submitted to this board, the evidence that has been submitted to this board satisfies all of your requirements set forth in the site plan review regulations and complies completely with the zoning ordinance. We reiterate that we believe that the additional study on parking that this board is requiring of the applicant is unnecessary, that it is speculative. It will be based on assumptions that speculative and is unlikely to provide any meaningful information that the board doesn't already have in its possession. The applicant's proposed condition with regard to parking provides a common sense approach. It provides a reasonable method to ensure that adequate parking is provided based on actual facts as they may exist on the ground after this project is completed. And for those reasons, the applicant is not willing to grant further extension of the 65-day period.
My. My. Counselor? Ready for this?
That is their option.
Yeah,
If
Okay.
the board feels that it still needs a parking study, then at this point, the board's option is to deny the application without prejudice on the basis that it does not have sufficient information to approve or deny the application.
Since the applicant has denied to grant an extension, the board believes that there is currently insufficient evidence to make a fully informed decision on this application. The board is unable to complete its review at this time. Therefore, I will call for a motion from the board regarding how it wishes to proceed. I know, you're looking at me. Yes, Counselor?
Can you specify what information you are lacking?
We did already, the parking study.
It was, yeah, the results of the parking study.
Like a finding of this board that is the basis. Yeah.
That would be in.
Go ahead. Say it so that I can,
Would you like some proposed findings?
yes, I can say that the information that we are not able to examine said without sufficient information to make a fully informed decision, particularly regarding parking demand and capacity.
Well, let me offer you some proposed findings.
Yes, go
Okay.
ahead.
And if you agree with these, you can adopt them as your own. The application was first submitted to this board on May 22nd, 2025, with very little detail and no parking at all shown on that plan. The applicant provided additional detail in response to staff inquiries on June 9th. Specifically regarding parking, it says that the applicant estimates 1,000 to 1,200 visitors a week at peak summer. And it says that this will be a mix of in-town lodging guests and day visitors. However, no information is given from where that estimate comes. It also says that the applicant believes there is enough available parking to account for increased parking. However, again, no information is given on what that belief is based. The applicant offers to add an additional parking lot if needed, and specifically says a parking study will be completed if requested. The applicant states that there are 280 shared parking spaces within 1,000 feet of the facility. 56 are subject to shared parking easement with the town ice arena, and 221 are used for town square. The applicant goes on to say we can make off-site overflow parking available if necessary. The planning board meets on June 12th. Revised plans are submitted on June 13th, this time showing a parking area. The planning board has a special meeting on June 19th and accepts the plan as complete. The planning board meets again on July 8th and July 10th. Revised plans are submitted on August 5th, and these plans for the first time show the 1,000-foot parking radius. The planning board met on August 14th and discussed parking in some detail and asked the applicant for an extension beyond August 23rd. The applicant agreed to an extension to August 28th if the board was working on a condition of approval. The planning board held a site visit on August 18th and met again on August 22nd. The zoning ordinance gives guidelines for off-street parking, but does not include this use in its table of parking requirements. And it says the planning board can require a different number of parking spaces upon receipt of a parking study to adequately document the projected parking need. It says that for non-residential uses other than lodging, the estimated participation by residents or overnight visitors should be given consideration. It allows flexible parking, including parking that is off-site within the distance of 1,000 feet. In this case, the board apparently is deciding that you do not have enough information to determine if there is sufficient parking, because the only information you have about anticipated traffic and therefore parking needs is from the applicant with no sources cited, and there is no such use in the zoning ordinance to give us guidance as to how many parking spots are required. Therefore, you need a parking study, which the applicant offered to prepare and submit before you make a decision to determine whether the zoning ordinance's parking requirements are met. And while the applicant claims that this parking study will be speculative, I will say that every site plan requires some sort of traffic study or parking study or noise study, and they're always speculative. You are the planning board. You are not the implementation board. You need to plan for parking. That's why you require studies. So if those conditions, those findings of fact sound right to you, you are free to make a motion to adopt them as your own.
We'll make a motion to adopt them as our own.
I second.
All in favor?
All right, what are we voting on?
Adopting those as findings of fact.
A finding of fact.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
it's counselor's question of why
okay,
and
no,
why
I
are,
understand that.
okay, we're stuck with another problem, which is a refusal to extend.
Yeah.
I have a question. Are
Yes.
you a yes or no on that, just so that for the record?
Well, my understanding of
We don't need to-
findings of fact, all right, is that we are not based upon that, the statements of finding of fact, which are historical in nature. Specifically saying to anyone that we are requiring by definition a parking study be done prior to our approval or disapproval. Is that correct?
So there's a motion on the floor to find that to deny the approval based on insufficient evidence. Counselor
Right.
has asked for specific findings as to what evidence you feel you are missing.
Right.
I have given you those findings to adopt as your own.
All I'm asking is, therefore, there are two motions. One motion, which is historical, I want everyone to understand, is historical in nature, which says this is what has happened historically chronologically,
Yes,
which is the findings of fact,
Yes.
which you have said.
yes,
And we are moving to say, yes, we agree with those findings of fact as stated.
yes,
That's motion number one.
yes.
There-
Motion
Motion
number
number two is
two.
not on the floor yet.
All right, so motion number two
Well, we have to vote on motion
Mayor.
number one.
may or may not come up. Okay,
So-
that it is, I felt it was important that we understand that it is different.
Yes.
So was it a unanimous? I was unclear as to what the vote was.
Let's vote.
Then we'll vote again.
Okay.
John,
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
okay.
So unanimously accepted as the reason for,
right.
yes. And I'm stuck with having to do this. That I move that the planning board deny the application without prejudice on grounds that the board does not have sufficient information to make a fully informed decision, particularly regarding parking demand and capacity. The applicant may resubmit the application once additional supporting documentation has been provided.
Second,
Discussion. I do not hear any discussion. Vote. John.
Yes.
Yes.
Morgan.
yes,
Yes.
No,
Application denied. The motion has passed and the application is hereby denied without prejudice. The applicant may resubmit the application at a further date with additional supporting information, including any study or documentation the board has requested. We appreciate the applicant's effort and the public's input throughout this process. I would like to thank all parties involved in their input, cooperation, and for providing the board with the information needed to reach any decision. This concludes the special hearing, and I thank you all for attending.
You gotta close it.
I need a motion to close this.
I move to close the public hearing.
No, you're good.
No, you good?
It's closed. You deny the application.
Okay, got it.
Well, all right, so then this meeting is concluded, and we thank you all for attending.
Motion to adjourn.
second,
Well, okay, all in favor of adjourning? The motion is passed. This meeting is adjourned.
Al,